This is going to be a quick tutorial on making a jumpsuit bell-bottom set. This is what you'll need. Start out by cutting 2 triangle pieces for your top. I went over an inch. That's where I'm going to go ahead and serge down so that it can fit to my breast. Then you're going to get, I have a 2-way stretch fabric that I got from Fine Fabrics out in Norcross, Georgia. I'm going to apply my pant pattern to the fabric, and I'm just going to apply the measurements that I took on myself using my measurement guide. You're going to make sure you give yourself at least an inch seam allowance all the way down. So I'm not going to make, I am going to cut off at the knee because I'm going to add my bell bottoms to the bottom of that pant. And since I'm only 5 foot tall, that's the size, well, length I'm going for. So you're going to need to cut out 2 pieces for your pant bottom. After you've done that, go ahead and pin all the way down. Now we're going to cut out 4 pieces of the bell bottom. Now you can make a small, a large bell bottom, whichever you prefer. I like mine to be small when it's on my my pant leg. You also want to make sure that you're cutting your patterns, especially if you're making like double. You want to make sure that they're all going to be the same length. So go ahead and trace your initial pattern that you already cut out. Now that you have all 4 pieces cut out, go ahead and pair your bell bottoms together. So you should have 2 bell bottoms for each leg. Okay, so right here I'm going to go ahead and serge my top. And I'm going to serge all the way around because the material I'm using actually frays. So if you're using anything that's silk, to keep it from shredding, you want to definitely use a serger. If you don't have a serger, you can do a fold over method and then top stitch. That works, but I love using my serger because it gives all my outfits a cleaner yet professional look. Now here you're gonna go ahead and gather your pant pattern together that you cut out, and you're just gonna sew along the crotch area on both sides. After you've done that on both sides, you're gonna pair it, you're gonna open it so that way it's centered. Crotch seam to crotch seam. Now you're going to take the end of your pant and run it through your serger or just your sewing machine. So this is a stretch fabric, and you also want to make sure that if you're not using pins, you want to make sure that your your crotch on both ends is lined up. Now for this step, we're going to go ahead and serge our bell bottom. You're going to start with the outer ends, serge those all the way down. I know you're probably wondering why are they so wide, but I'm going to show you the method that I use on having them fit properly to my pant bottom. Alright guys, so we're halfway there. Time to check in. So these are the pieces that you must have. You're supposed to have 2 triangles for the top, a waistband, a pant should look just like this, and of course your 2 bell bottoms for the bottom. Now the part you guys have been waiting for. Go ahead and pinch about 2 inches per fold. And you're going to do this all the way around until it's at least the same size as your leg or around your knee. So if you haven't already done so, go ahead and measure the length of your around your knee. Alright, so my camera died. Forgive me. So you're just going to go ahead and we're going to top stitch our bell bottom. We're going to lock in those folds, you guys. So if you don't have a serger, you can either zigzag stitch or you can use like the pull method where with a stretch fabric, you're going to gently tug while you're stitching. So that way, once it has been attached to your pant leg and it stretches, the threading won't pop. So if you do a regular straight stitch, be mindful that you are stretching of your fabric and it's gonna end up popping. So definitely zigzag stitch. All right, so here's the part where you really need to pay attention because I almost messed up here. Uh, we're gonna start by folding your pan inside out, well, right side out, and we're gonna attach the bottom to your bell bottom, and you want to have right sides facing together, and you're gonna pin that all the way around. The way I pin it, I actually stretch out the pant leg so that way it's the same as the bell bottom, and it should look just like this. Alright, so now that we got both ends connected, you're going to go ahead and slide it on your sewing machine, and you're going to lock in both ends with a straight stitch. I am going to use my serger after this, so that's why I'm only using a straight stitch. I just want to gather both pieces so that they're both straight and aligned properly. If you don't have a serger, you can use a zigzag stitch. That'll definitely help, and it won't pop because it'll just stretch with the material when you put it on. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and add our waistband. Now the waistband, you want to make sure that is lined up properly. See where that end is that I connected both ends of my waistband. You're going to make sure that it's either towards the back or the side. I am actually going to go ahead and take that off and flip it around to the back because I want to add a zipper and I don't want that lining showing up on the side because it's going to be noticeable. Maybe not so much noticeable to others, but I'm always going to like pick at it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that around so it's facing the back. After you've pinned that around, go ahead and run it through your serger. Please make sure you take out your pins as you're serging. I have made that mistake before, and it will ruin your blade and your needle. Yay! So this is what your waistband should look like when it's attached. Beautiful and seamless. Perfect. Let's move on to the next step. This step is actually optional, but for every step that I make, I like to put my garment on my mannequin so that way it gives me like a visual as to how well I'm doing, especially if it's for another client. and your client's like out of state, and they can't do like alterations in front. So this would be a great practice to do. Go ahead and put your item on a mannequin. This is a technique that I like to do, especially when I'm making an outfit for myself, especially when it has to do with a long like front opening. I just simply tie the top of my garment together in a bow, and then I just bring it down and mark it with chalk so I can know how far down I want to go with this opening. After I line it up and mark where I want to sew, I'm gonna just pin the front down. This is actually the length that I'm looking for, and I do want as much boob coverage as possible because I don't want anything being exposed. So yeah, every direction I turn, I know that I'm gonna have the proper coverage, and I won't have my breast like slipping out. So this is definitely what I'm gonna go for, and I'm gonna flip that inside out, pin it back where those two darts with the chalk line up, and then I'm just gonna sew that down. Alright guys, time for another check-in. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on my mannequin. Now, this mannequin top is a little bigger than me, and I can tell that I'm not gonna like this. So, let's just throw that over there and get the little titty one. Much better. Definitely my size. When aligning your top to the bottom, you're going to align both seams for the top and the pant. Make sure they're aligned properly so that way when you put on your outfit, you don't have like a slanted line in the front of your outfit. I like to turn my pant inside out. I think it's the best method to use when trying to connect your top half to your bottom half. For this last step, we're going to secure our top to the bottom. First things first, you're going to want to do a top stitch where the bottom of your top meets the bottom of your waistband. So that's going to be the first top stitch that you do. The second top stitch that you're going to do is going to be the center of your top sewn onto the top of your waistband. So you should have an end to top stitch. When flipping it over to do your final top stitch for the top, I actually changed out my thread color to just white, so that way you won't be able to see anything on the front. You can also do it for the bottom stitch as well, but I prefer just to have all white, because sometimes when your bottom stitch is, for example, black and your top stitch is white, sometimes that bottom thread will pull through and you'll see the black threading, which I don't like that at all. So I'm going to keep it white for the top and bottom. Alright, so we are all done. I'm going to go ahead and clean up around this garment and make sure there's nothing showing. I want it to look as professional as possible. Hey girl, hey! If you're watching me right now, that means you did it. Give yourself a round of applause. You finished your tutorial today on making a basic jumpsuit bell-bottom set. Now your outfit should look something similar like this, with a few minor alterations. Now I did go ahead and add darts to the back along with the zipper.
adding a zipper is optional. I do like to add zippers to my clothing sometimes because it's easier for me to get in and out of my clothes. If you have any further questions, go ahead and submit those questions down below in the comment section down below. And yeah, subscribe, like, share, get the word out. And come back to me next week for more tutorials and updates. Bye.